Right now on Eyewitness News at noon, for a second day in a row, protests unfolding in Charlotte. We're live from the air and on the ground as demonstrators start to gather in Uptown. Plus, a first look at the destruction left behind after a violent night in Charlotte. What came of last night's protests and what witnesses say they saw in the midst of the chaos. Eyewitness News at noon starts right now. And we begin with live pictures from Chopper 9 Sky Zoom over Marshall Park in Uptown. This is where protesters are slated to gather to speak out against the killing of George Floyd, the man who was killed while in police custody in Minneapolis. You can see not too many people there yet, but that is slated to begin right now so more people can gather, and we will be there for that. Good afternoon, I'm Susanna Black. This is the second day of protests here in Charlotte. Last night, demonstrations turned violent, giving way to tense standoffs between protesters and police. Our crew saw smoke, that explosion, and even witnessed some protesters throwing rocks at officers. At one point, police fired pepper spray bullets to break up those crowds. Let's send it over to reporter Deshawn Brown. She is live at Marshall Park for us. Deshawn, walk us through what's going on out there.
Susanna, I'll give you a sense of who is here right now in Marshall Park. This was actually organized by a group of white women specifically, and you can see by one of the signs here, we'll walk around to show you what's happening. One, stop killing our black brothers. The other, white silence equals violence. And what I'm hearing from organizers is they really wanted some of the white members of the community to be at the forefront of this in solidarity with people of color in reference to the violence and forms of racism. They definitely wanted this to be a way to bridge the gap and to have other voices in the community step up and to show that there is support, there is solidarity. One of the organizers told me they don't know how many people will come out today, but they still felt it was important to be here, to be a voice, to be an advocate, but also to learn more about what other community members can do. So that is something that we will continue to monitor. We just had a few other people walk up. So again, no idea yet how many people will be here overall today, but that is their intent. And we will stop to speak more with them about how they plan to be a resource in the community as well. I do want to send it over to my colleague Blaine Tolleson, who has been following developments from overnight, specifically the protests that we saw late into last night and this morning. Blaine?
And Deshawn, I can tell you I spoke with police and they are expecting crowds here at Marshall Park at some point, so we'll see what happens. But last night's protest did begin peacefully at the Metro Division over in West Charlotte, and then things started to escalate into the evening, and police they did what they could to try to quell things. And as we wait to see what happens here at Marshall Park, I'll show you what happened last night. About 6:30, police first sent a special unit out to speak with protesters to try to see if they could find some common ground, but the protesters wanted nothing to do with police. And then Chief Kirkputney said problems began around 7:30, 8 o'clock with bottles and rocks being thrown at officers. And Chopper 9, as you can see here, flew over Beatties Ford Road, capturing this video of officers in protective gear walking the street in a line. At times they would grab people and pull them behind their line and arrest them. And then we have more video from the ground. We had a few crews on the ground as well, getting exposed to pepper spray out there. Police put out a tweet this morning saying that they did not shoot any toxic chemicals out there, but rather pepper spray shot into the crowds of protesters. There were people actively protesting, a lot of people also just standing around watching. And then a crowd of people made their way to the nearby Food Line shopping plaza on Beatties Ford, broke in and looted. And then we went by that Food Line this morning and we could see a lot of damage. The windows of the store shattered. The windows of smaller businesses, a cell phone store and Chinese restaurant were smashed. And the cell phone store had been repaired quickly. There are a lot of locals coming up, taking pictures, who shop here and are a part of an effort, some of the folks I spoke with, to improve the Beatties Ford corridor, and they are upset by all of this.
It's more about making things better for everyone, improving our life in our neighborhoods.
While the bigger picture here, all of this about George Floyd and what went on in Minneapolis, but there are multiple layers to this we're trying to peel apart. There are questions from leaders. These are questions from leaders I have spoken to about what is going on here in the community. One of their biggest questions is there some type of outside influence beyond what we are seeing on the ground, and who is behind that outside influence beyond Charlotte that is making its way here? Back to you, Susanna.
Yeah, Blaine, certainly a lot to unpack there and a lot to follow up on, like you mentioned. Thank you. Well, protesters are also gathering in South Carolina right now. This is video from a demonstration in Rock Hill that started about an hour ago. Protesters there are marching from the Fountain Park to the Rock Hill Police Department, and you can see dozens of people showed up there. Well, this is what is causing these protests. We're choosing only to show you this still image from the video someone recorded of the last minutes of George Floyd's life. Officer Derek Chauvin held his knee on Floyd's neck for several minutes, and Floyd said repeatedly that he could not breathe. Yesterday, before the protest, Chauvin was taken into custody on 2 charges, third-degree murder and manslaughter. None of the other officers at the scene have been arrested, but investigators say more charges could be coming. All 4 of them were fired on Tuesday. Now, there were protests across the country last night, including in Minneapolis, where this all began. Take a look at this. Protesters set fire to several businesses, including this one that continued burning this morning. Government leaders set up an 8 p.m. curfew this weekend for Minneapolis and neighboring St. Paul. 350 state troopers helped police to enforce that curfew. The city's mayor spoke out overnight against the looting that was happening in many neighborhoods.
You're not getting back at the police officer that tragically killed George Floyd by looting a town. You're not getting back at anybody.
All right, now take a look at this video out of Atlanta where protesters vandalized police cars, and as you just saw, they also broke windows at the CNN Center. Again, this situation started as a peaceful protest at Centennial Olympic Park before it became violent. Hundreds of National Guard troops have also been activated to keep the peace there. And the protest stretched all the way to California. Hundreds of people shut down part of a freeway in Oakland. Tragically, an officer was shot and killed in Oakland during these protests you see on your screen. Another was shot but survived. The officers were part of the Federal Protective Service detail, and that falls under the Department of Homeland Security. Well, Channel 9 is asking CMPD how many people were arrested in Charlotte's protest last night. We know they took several people into custody for failure to disperse, and that includes Charlotte City Councilman Braxton Winston. Now, this is a misdemeanor charge. Winston has been released, and he tweeted early this morning. He said, quote, "I am home safe. Thank you all for your support. There are a lot of people that are still in the process, and there is a lot of work to do." Now, we'll continue to keep you updated on air and online with every new development. You can also see any of our complete coverage anytime on our free WSOC TV News app.